Next, we have Bill Drew and the presentation, Life, Death, and 7 Kids. So Bill, welcome up.
All right. Hello, Burlington. You know, just thinking, driving over here, I moved to Vermont 30 years ago, almost to the day. And today I call Vermont home. And I was thinking about how lucky and fortunate I am to be able to say that. All right, let's get started. Marriage, the biggest crapshoot around. I mean, every marriage has an unpredictable ending, and come to think of it, the middle is pretty unknown too. When my parents got married, they agreed to explore the unknown together. Those weren't their vows, but let's be honest, that's pretty much what every married couple agrees to. Bursting at the seams, true for my mother and for my parents' apartment in Watertown, Mass. I was the 4th child born to Dick and Alice Drew, and after I came along, apartment living just wasn't going to cut it. So they went house hunting, and the city of Newton, Mass. Is where they decided to put down their roots. One shower. My parents bought this house in 1966 with only one full bath. It's a pretty big issue because my parents added 3 more kids after I was born. 7 kids, 2 parents, 1 shower. Every morning, just take a number and hope for the best. Now, this could have gone horribly wrong. 7 kids born in just 8 years, but for some reason, our tightly compacted family was very close. You might even say peaceful. Just like otters, we moved together in a caravan, or in our case, a maroon Chevy station wagon. But let's be honest, seriously. Who in their right mind takes 7 kids to the beach? So, as my mother sat inside on the phone with a Winston cigarette in one hand and a gin and tonic in the other, she'd send the 7 of us to a water park, commonly referred to as the side yard. You know, in the English language, one word mattered more to us than any other: Halloween. We'd use pillowcases as candy bags and literally sprint from house to house. And my dad would bring down the bathroom scale and weigh everyone's bag. And he'd crown a winner. Pure, unbridled excitement. Some of us just couldn't hold it in. All right, so how do you honor Christ rising from the dead? You forced your kids to dress up like the Brady Bunch on crack and pose for a lame-ass family picture. Every Easter, without fail, my dad snapped a family portrait in exactly the same spot, whether we liked it or not. So every holiday meal, the kids were relegated to the kitchen, but each year one of us might get invited to the dining room, like getting called up from the minor leagues. I remember getting the call once and holding out a wine glass, brashly hoping they'd serve me some Blue Nun or cold duck. It's pretty ballsy for a 12-year-old. Look, who needs friends, right? As kids, we stressed out over making friends, and back then, making friends was a matter of life or death. Sorry, I just can't relate. I was born into a friend group. They came standard. You didn't have to impress them or invite them over to your house. They just showed up, which is about 90% of friendship anyway. Now, I only have 2 kids, and sometimes I worry I'm playing favorites. If I had 7 kids, I'd be a basket case, but somehow my mother found a way to navigate these murky emotional waters, and to this day, I don't know how she did it. But I feel like her favorite, which is precisely how my 6 siblings feel too. Excitement, served with a side dish of complete panic and debilitating nausea. The first day of school, it never got easy. It's an unhealthy obsession with what to wear and what to say and who to sit with. And guess what? Another annual photo tradition in our family. Sure, Dad, whatever you say. On Saturdays in the fall, my dad would head off to a Boston College football game, and he'd tell us to rake the leaves while he was gone. We wouldn't. Instead, we'd play football and listen to the game on a tiny transistor radio, and then we'd scramble to rake the leaves just seconds before he got home. So, have you ever played hockey in a bird bath? In the winter, our dad hooked up a hose in the kitchen sink and flooded our backyard. A 10-foot by 10-foot sheet of bumpy, patchy ice, and we'd invite neighbors over and play some of the worst hockey ever attempted on the smallest skating rink in recorded history. A leather briefcase at the beach? That's normal, right? For a few years, my dad rented a house in York Beach, Maine, and my dad would drive to work in Boston, then head back to Maine and meet us at the beach, wearing his gaudy sports coat, a tie that was about 6 inches wide, and carrying his trusty leather briefcase, and, oh yeah, shorts and black knee socks too, of course. So what do you call 9 people crammed into a 27-foot motorhome for a month? I call it the summer of '78. My dad showed up one July day and announced he had rented a cramped home on wheels and we were headed to the Grand Canyon. So I checked out the RV and I noticed only one tiny bathroom. Just like home, I thought. Winston Churchill once said, "We shape our buildings and thereafter they shape us." So the 7 of us are who we are because of that house and everything that happened there. Every fish cake dinner on Friday night, every Saturday night watching the Partridge Family, and every wonderfully crappy birthday cake. So thankfully, my dad was not into collecting dead butterflies. These memories are crystal clear to me because of my dad's hobby. He was an amateur photographer, slides actually, tens of thousands of slides. His pictures and his life, the one he built and saw through his lens, is captured forever in black circular time machines called carousels. As the 7 of us got older, our individual lives took over, track practice and clarinet lessons, then college, marriage, and grandkids. 7 dramatically different individuals that have never lost sight of the one thing that they all share, each other. You know, in the end, the 7 of us, we know we're close, and we don't talk about it much. We don't need to, because every day at that address, we had everything and everyone we could ever need. We don't need the pictures to convince us, but we do need them to remind us. And so my dad died last summer, and the house just went on the market about 2 weeks ago. And I volunteered to go through all his slides, happily stuck in the past, happily reminding myself of the joyful chaos that those 2 created in that place that we called home.